Hey guys, how you doing? It's Jaya. Nice to see you here. Thank you for being here. There's so many more new people joining and I'm so excited. And as more people kind of come into my orbit and the stuff that I talk about, I know there's a lot of options here on YouTube, so thank you for choosing me to watch right now. Appreciate it. I just want to say that in my life and in just what's making sense to talk about in terms of energy. I've worked with energy now for 6 years based on a natural gift to see energy visually, and it's really incredible. But I'm going to be honest, as I go forward in my life, the only thing that makes sense to me to really base my work on is to talk about the divine mercy, because that's what my work has always been based on. I never had I didn't know how to talk about it. It seemed like, as weird as some people thought energy work is, there was still a community of people who got it, the spiritual people. And so I felt like I had to fit in and help people understand me and be able to be palatable for people. And I never, it's not that I didn't tell people that my work is based upon Jesus, basically. It was just that I didn't think people could handle it, and I didn't also ever want to make people feel like they had to have a certain belief. And that was like very real to me, because I still feel that way. I still feel like you can't make people believe what you believe. But over the years, working people, healing people, it just has started to really feel like if I don't talk about it like openly and transparently, then I feel like I'm not telling the whole story. And I can talk about energy and I can talk about Jesus, and to me they're not separate. And so I think that I have felt some stagnation in my business recently, and I just felt like I literally don't have anything to lose. I literally don't have There's no reason for me not to talk about what's really going on with how it's possible for energy to clear so quickly from your system through the power of Jesus, how he taught me how to do a method that literally clears your system quickly, how the energetics of who he is as a resurrected being. I mean, I'm only scratching the surface with my knowledge, but I really believe, like, the stuff that I'm Catholic and the stuff that the Catholic Church talks about, and the, even what a lot of religions talk about, and energy, it's like the same. And so that's something that he had me knowing for years now. But I just felt like I really just felt like I can't come out and just talk about Jesus this much and divine mercy, and if you've started watching my channel, you're probably like, wow, she's really drilling in the Jesus talk, because it's just, I can't leave it out anymore. It's just the truth for me. And so I don't want you to feel like you have to believe anything. If you're interested in energy, that's what I talk about. But I just encourage you to have an open mind, because I don't know, like, I've always been fascinated by religions and different religions, and never felt any judgment either. I just think, we have different cultures, we have different beliefs, we have different religions. Like, that's cool, actually. I think that's really amazing. And I would never want to make anybody feel bad about what they believe, any more than I would want to make them feel bad about their ancestors or where they're from or anything else about them. So, I'll be honest, I don't know how what I'm seeing in the energy world fits with all the different beliefs, but I do know that God is love, and that's the one thing that we all do understand. That's the one thing that really connects us. And energy also is universal. It's not like, I've had people tell me they don't believe in energy, and I'm watching energy around them, and I'm like, it doesn't matter if you believe in it, it's there. It's like how life works. It's like saying you don't believe in gravity. It's like, great, that's fine. But even though I have a Catholic background, I suppose I do see things through that lens, but the truth is I see what I see in the energy world, and just because I'm a Catholic doesn't mean that that's why I'm saying, hey, Jesus is actually real. I had a hard time understanding Jesus my whole life. I really did. I really didn't feel like I understood. Oh, God, it just didn't make any sense to me, to be honest. I felt like it was forced upon me to have a relationship with someone I didn't even understand. And so I secretly kind of didn't understand. And it wasn't until I started seeing energy and seeing so many things in the energy world, and seeing the energy of the resurrection, and seeing the energy of the death on the cross and the resurrection. And when I clear energy in sessions now, I use his blood literally to clear negative energy, and it works. And so that shows me all the time how real he is. And so again, I'm not going to be like, hey, you have to believe what I believe, but I am going to just talk about what my experiences are. And I think that we all have a right to talk about our own experiences, right? And yeah, so that's like kind of a big disclaimer for, I know I'm already talking a lot about Jesus, but I just wanted to like say that I think that that's got to almost be like the whole foundation of my work now, like, because it always has been. It's just I haven't been able to bring it to light, really. I definitely haven't advertised it that way, even though that's what it is. And to me too, it was like, how can you sell a spiritual ability? Like, how can you, like, is that okay? But like, I'm always following, honestly, what I feel like I'm being led to do. And it's like, this is a lesson for your life too. It's like, you have to be open to unification right now, unifying things that the world previously hasn't really unified. Like in the past, if you're really into Jesus, maybe you go be a nun. But like my path is like, have a healing ability and make it a business. Like those two things don't seem to go together. But that is the unification of the feminine, which is the spiritual, and the masculine, which is the practical. Well, we have bills to pay, right? Well, a really useful skill in life. Okay, unification. Like, can you start to think about that in your own life? The way that you don't have to have one or the other. You don't have to be a spiritual person or a religious person. You can be both. You don't have to be really spiritual and not have a job. You can have both. Like, it's like the unification is so big right now, and that's been going on for years too. And that's something that I've had to train myself to do, and I continue to do it because the world still doesn't really do it. And one of my favorite people here on YouTube is actually an exorcist, and he does all these awesome prayers, but sometimes he'll say things and I'm like, just from what I've seen, and it's just my genuine feeling, it's like it is still a little bit skewed. It's like, because even the idea of like a witch, or like he talks about like the evil of witches and the occult and the third eye even being evil, and I'm like, I've seen the third eye. The third eye is natural. The third eye is like an eyeball that looks like one of your eyeballs. It's right here in the middle of your forehead, and it can have blocks inside of it. And I've literally taken these like rods of dark energy out of people's third eye. Like, it's so natural to clear the third eye and also to have a third eye. Like, your intuition isn't evil. Okay, this is what I've seen, right? I will say, I think that anything can be perverted, anything at all. You can be a teacher and there have been teachers who marry their students. It's like, you can be a priest and not be a good priest. You know, you can be somebody who works with energy and is not a good person, or you're not helping people, or, you know, like, there are people who can do evil things in this world, and no matter what you do. But the third eye itself is not evil. God created that. Being able to work with energy itself is not evil. God taught me how to work with energy, you know? So like, we have to be really careful about these sort of like old ways of like judgment, basically, and fear, and being like, that's literally what happened during the witch hunts. And I had a past life as a witch, so I am very passionate about this. I was hung as a witch in a past life in like the 1700s, and I still deal with a lot of the trauma now. That's for another story. But like it's yeah, it's a lot. And that's what happened back then. It's like you take one thing, maybe like I've researched this, there were witches who did terrible things, but they weren't everybody who could work with energy or who had ability beyond this world. It's like, it's just, yeah, like there are some people, but you're letting them give everybody a bad name. And I've seen enough. I don't think that that's how it works. I don't think tarot is inherently evil or anything like that. And I think God can speak to us in so many ways. I think the actual definition of evil is separation from God. So that's why, honestly, in my work, I did feel like I started to hit a ceiling, because as somebody who works with energy, my business is now called Feminine Lifestyle Code, but I was called Energy Queen for a long time, and I loved that name. And actually that came to me in a meditation, and I really loved that. But I struggled with that off and on, even though I loved it. I thought I would have that name forever, by the way. But I sort of started to feel like I was starting to hit a ceiling, because people would come to me and they would almost think that I was their savior. They would think that people would put me on a pedestal and be like, you know, this is the thing I've been looking for my entire life. And it's like, I was happy to help them and to step in and do what I could. But like, I just deep inside myself, knowing that my work comes from Jesus, it just felt to me like, okay, like, but I'm just a person too. Like and that's what anybody is, any medical doctor or coach or therapist. Like, yeah, you're a person and you're good at a specific thing, but you're not anybody's ultimate savior. And I feel like that's what eventually happened with a lot of my clients, even the ones that thought that I was that. It's like I ended up being a catalyst, and I helped in so many ways, and their lives went in a better direction. And I even watched my clients years later now, and one of my previous clients, I haven't seen what she was doing for years. I just looked her up, and she's now having a baby girl. And I was like, wow, like there's so many incredible things, and she looks fantastic. And it's like, you can have, when your energy clears, your life literally up levels, and then you're just at a higher level from then on, which is incredible. But like, I can do that, but I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not your savior. I think that there are people who come into your life and they help you. And I've had many of those people at different times, at the right time. But when you put people on a pedestal, I find you always knock them down at some point. And so it's not really fair to anybody to do that. But to get excited about a change in your life, yeah, let's get excited about that. Let's get excited about the fact that, you know, I have a miraculous gift that can clear energy, and actually teach people how to do it too. Let's get excited about that. But I feel like if I'm putting myself and calling myself, you know, a title as if it's coming from me, I just started to feel like that's not completely accurate. It's just not. I've started to think about this while I do sessions. Like, I can't do anything on my own. I cannot do anything. All I do is conjure a tool like the blood of Christ, which it has the power when combined physically with a negative energy. The energy world is very physical. So you combine that physical element of the blood with that negative energy, it dissolves it. It's just like a chemical reaction. I call it, what I do, Energy Queen Alchemy. I still call it that, actually. And it is like watching a chemical reaction. And my belief is what brings the blood into contact with the negative energy in you. I can move it at will through my belief. It's like, my power is just believing. That is the literal power that I have, which is wonderful, because to imagine the amount of belief you have to be able to actually move energy at will. And it has taken a lot for me in my journey to be able to do that and to get to this point. And I own that. That's incredible. I never thought I would be able to do that. And I see things still happen in myself and in my clients that I just, it really is miraculous. But my belief is in the one who's actually able to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not able to clear energy. I'm able to bring something into contact with you that clears energy. You know what I mean? It's like using a laser. I always think of my work as like a facial, because that's what it feels like when I'm erasing negative energy and dissolving it. It's like, imagine using like a laser, and the laser is doing all kinds of cool stuff, but you're not giving like electricity any credit. You're like, no, I'm doing it. It's like, well, you're like the tool, or you're like the focuser, but like, no. That's not, like, you can't, if the tool doesn't have electricity, then you can't do anything, right? That's exactly what it is with the way I clear energy. And I found that, you know, belief is the real secret of the energy world. And when I teach my students how to clear energy, I never make them use the energy of Jesus, but it really depends on your own beliefs. And I've had students use sunlight. I believe that has the power to dissolve negative energy, or water, or all kinds of different things. And I think that's beautiful, because that is positive energy, and positive energy is God. It's light, it's love. It's like it's all the same. So there's that too, you know, but the energy of Jesus, I just feel like I mean, a specialist in a lot of ways. Like, I've gotten to know it really deeply. I'm still getting to know it. And it's just the most transformative energy in the energy world. And there's nothing higher. And when I look at the other energy world, they all know that. They all know that the resurrection energy, which is light purple, it's him, it's his renewed identity as a resurrected being. That's the highest. And it's just like, everybody knows that. It's just, everybody knows that. So it's like, if you're going to do energy work, to me, it's like, use that. You like, go to the highest thing. Like, I know a lot of people do a lot of different things, but I feel like that's also what makes me different, is that that's how I do it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, I'm going to heal you. It's really coming through me. And I don't think that Reiki and stuff like that is evil. And I've heard, again, The Exorcist say that was evil. And I was like, it's positive energy. Positive energy isn't evil. Negative energy is literally the definition of evil. So I don't think Reiki is evil. I think that Reiki is positive energy, again. But there is something really special about, so there's positive energy, and then there's the resurrection energy, and there's the elements, the physical elements of the resurrection, and the fact that they're still real now. And that's exactly how I clear energy every session, is I almost have to remind myself of two things, that like something like the blood of Christ has the ability to clear negative energy, because it already did. When he died on the cross, he cleared all the negative energy. And now we just deal with like a void, or an app, like it's like a shadow. And so it's already done. Whatever is in you and it's a problem, it's already solved. It's already done through that resurrection, which is, like, you can think about it different religious ways, but honestly, in the energy world, it's just an energy. It's just there, available all the time. And the resurrection energy is light purple, and it's incredible. And when you start thinking about these things, you'll start to see the color light purple a lot more. And I remind myself that, hey, I'm looking at this negative energy in this person, and it can't withstand the power of the blood of Christ. It just can't. He already did it. That's why it was such a big deal. The cross was such a big deal, because he did so much. He really got rid of all the negative energy. It was a really intense energetic process, as well as a physical suffering, and beyond, I think, what we can even imagine. And then I remind myself that the energy world is more physical than the physical world. It really is more physical than the physical world. What we see in the physical world is like such a pale comparison of the vibrancy of the energy world and the beauty of the energy world and the physicality of the energy world. So the reason why something like the blood of Christ really works for me is because the energy world is a physical place, and also Jesus, there was something about him when he was alive that at every age, at every stage, the physicality of him is still available. It's hard to explain, but that's why he appears as a child sometimes. The Infant of Prague is a really cool story to look up, and a cool person to pray to. It's you can take the element, the physical body of Jesus is eternal because he died and resurrected. He still exists. He literally rose into heaven, in this resurrected body. And so he is as physically real every moment of his existence when he was here on this planet. That physicality is still available right now, is what I'm saying. And so I've used the hands of the baby Jesus to clear energy. I've put them in contact with, and it sounds kind of crazy, for me to be doing that, but I can only do what he allows me to do. And it constantly surprises me that he allows me so generously to, he's so willing, never holds back, never tells me not to, never, if I'm ever hesitant, he's actually I taught you how to do this, do it. Sometimes I'm sad that I'm using his blood, because I'm well, that's the blood that you died, this is sad. And it's no, just do it. He is passionate about the defeat of negative energy in our own souls, and his divine mercy is so needed right now in the world. And the idea that there's so much mercy for us, and what that means is not oh, we're terrible and you, wow, have mercy on me. It's understanding that he is, I'm gonna try to explain it. It's hard to explain things that you see sometimes, but I saw this sort of energetic vision the other day, and it was sort of just a pair of eyes, and it was just the energy of Christ, and it was so innocent and vulnerable and beautiful and pure and clear, and just how you see beautiful things in nature, and you see beautiful things in animals, and you see beauty in people, and you see beauty in the world, and you see all this beauty. It felt like the raw version of that. It's we see manifestations of this beautiful energy, but it's there's a raw sort of imagine just that energy as a being, and just this being. And when I saw that, I was oh my God, I understand you even more now. I understand you even more, because here are people down here talking about you you're judgmental and mean, and they're using you to judge other people, and they're using you to be a bigot and to be a racist and all these things. And it's when you see or understand the feeling, and it's a feeling that you can conjure yourself when you just look at life, look at the things that this creator has created, look at the beauty in you that he's created. It's so incredible. And you don't see any of those dark things, of course, in him. And you start to realize that oh, that's who you are. Oh, and I think for us to live not realizing who this even is it is kind of an emergency, I think, in your life, to understand whoa, hold on, this is who this is. And this being really does love you and supports you and is constant and consistent and never lets you go and has mercy on you in the sense that you're a human and you don't know what's going on and you make mistakes, and we all do. And one of my favorite things that I go to confession like every week now, and there's this wonderful priest here who says all kinds of wise things. Sometimes I share them here on the videos, but he said to me once, I said, like, I don't feel like I'm ever gonna pray good enough, or I'm ever gonna be good enough. And he was like, you won't, you're not. But like, that's okay. None of us are. And that was kind of a relief, because I'm not good enough. I know from working with hundreds, like it could be in the thousands now, people, clients from all over the world, the number one negative belief everybody shares is I'm not good enough. And I have that too. And it's hard. But I think, ironically, maybe the reason we feel that way is because it's actually true, but it's not in like a negative way. It's just that there's always going to be a gap between us and the holy ones. It's just like, yeah, like we can't see God's perspective. How am I supposed to ever be perfect? But that's where divine mercy comes in, where it's like a being that doesn't abandon you in that. Imagine that, like a being that doesn't abandon you because you're not good enough, but instead is like, let me be close to you. Let me love you. Let me take all this darkness away. Let me guide you. Let me help you. It wants to come close to you. So that's what this is, really. And I just feel like life is too hard without that being. Life doesn't make much sense, and it's very scary, and a lot of people get trapped and fall, and let's not do that. Let's not let darkness and things that happen to us overcome us and hurt us. Let's open up our souls instead. Let's be open to that loving being that is like wanting to help beyond our understanding. And divine mercy is incredible. It's beyond anything that I think we've seen in this world. It doesn't have a logic to it. It just is. It's just available. And I was thinking of this song. You might know this song called Here I Am, Lord. It's like, I will take their hearts of stone, make them hearts for love alone. It's like he can even take a heart that's stone cold, and you've probably seen people in the world who you can tell. But if he's willing to help those people, he can help you. You know, and the concept of divine mercy came into the world because Jesus appeared to Saint Faustina, who was a Polish nun in the 1930s, and she kept a diary of what happened and what he told her, and he got her to paint an image. And why I'm so passionate, why I got the belief that I got and started to be able to do what I do, is because I almost died from chronic Lyme disease in my 20s, and I prayed to that image. I read the diary and I prayed to that image, and I got a diagnosis immediately after, and I knew it was him. So that's where my belief comes from when I say I've been through a lot. Like it's like I feel like he's trying to do something for the world. Like I'm like a speaker about it. I just when that happened, I was like, this is real. And even all the other stuff about Jesus, I was like, you know, there's a lot that's said about him, but I was like, this one thing, the divine mercy, the blood and the water that he describes that gushed out of him when they cut him open on the cross with a sword. And even in the painting, there's a blue light or blue ray and a red ray. And I realized too, if you put those together, they make purple, of course, right? So I was just like, when I got that miracle in my life that saved my life, like it was just so real. And I was just like, that's real. Like this, I know for sure this one thing is very real, because I spent years trying to get a diagnosis and I couldn't. And it's like, I really got to that point where I really told him, like, and I prayed to that image and I told him, And it took me years to get to this point, by the way. Like, you don't necessarily get to a point of surrender like this because you're just like, that'll work, I should do that. It's like sometimes you just get there and you're like, I literally was like, I'm not gonna kill myself. If you want me to suffer like I am, I'll live. That's what I told him, straight up. I was like, I have enough belief in you that I know that you could help me, you know? You could, if you aren't, then like, fine. I literally was like, fine, that's fine. Because what am I gonna do? I've tried everything. I don't know, do you want this for me? Okay, I will suffer. And I suffered a lot, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Every single waking moment. I used to put a timer, this little kitchen timer, and I would time it for 15 minutes just to like, be like, just get through the next 15 minutes. You know, it was a lot of stuff, like, it was so hard. And, yeah, I just got to the point where I was like, fine, you know, like, I will do this. I don't know what it is, but I will do it. You know, and it was hard. And I didn't know I was even in danger of dying, which Lyme disease, you know, can do that. And, you know, then I got a diagnosis. And so I really believe in that, in the divine mercy. And so that's why I can do what I do now, and why I know that that's real. And I've helped myself heal so many things since then. I've healed so many other people in so many ways. I was making a list the other day, and I mean, it's honestly too many things to ever list. It's always just sort of like, what are the highlights? What are a few things that I really remember? And I mean, I remember working with people who had lupus and Hashimoto's and, you know, really severe mental illness, depression, who had symptoms that they couldn't get rid of, who had patterns in their life and obsessions and things that just felt so like they were on a loop. Alcoholism, that was one that I actually forgot, but like that was real, that I helped people with these things. And I think the people who had lupus and Hashimoto's, who both cut their medication, these are two different people who both cut their pain medication in half from a few sessions, you know. Like, I just look at stuff like that and I'm like, that's incredible. And I never advertise saying like, hey, I'm gonna heal you, but it's like, there's so much that can happen for you when negative energy clears out of you. And I feel like, you know, we want Jesus to be more physical and real. And I was actually kind of complaining to the priest today in confession and being like, you know, well, it's like, I've never seen him. And the priest was like, yeah, I've never seen him either. And he said, if it would be good for your soul, then he would show up and you would be able to see him. But it's like, I feel like we need him to be more practical and physical in our lives. We need him, we need to know that he cares. We need to find a way to bridge that gap. And so I feel like my work sort of helps with that. And even here on my channel talking about things. And I talk about energy, and I'm always going to talk about energy. It's just, it's like fascinating and it's important and it's what I work with. But it's like, when you're talking about energy, it's like, for me, I'm never going to be able to leave out the resurrection energy and the divine mercy and how I actually clear negative energy. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I need to make that unification myself in what I talk about. So anyway, there's so much I could talk about, and I know I've covered a lot, but if you are a super fan of energy and want to know more about who Jesus actually is and how your life can change, then I hope you enjoyed this video. So thanks for hanging out with me. And if you enjoyed this, make sure you like and subscribe and comment. During the month of October, I'm going to be writing all your names into, like, putting them into a draw for the whole month. And so at the end of the month, like, if you subscribe or if you comment, and if you, at the end of the month, I'm going to do a free 1 hour session for someone. I'm going to do a draw. So thank you for watching, you guys. I love you. I think that you just have to have faith, and you have to open up your spirit, and I hope to help you to maybe have some ideas that will help you along your way. I know I had many people who helped me, even if it was through a book I read or something like that. So that's part of the reason why I show up here, because I remember feeling that feeling of just wanting someone to give me the answers. And I'll never have all the answers, but I feel like I have some things that I can share. So thanks for watching. Bye.